to cross it easily, not even thinking that there's a bridge. That comes with maturity. It also comes with an evolved spirit. That is where you're headed. But for now, all that I have asked for these programs to do is to introduce you to the concept of going into you, into that which is your soul. This bridge is very crossable. There are so many questions based upon the bias of what you've been told. I hear them. I hear the objections. I hear those saying, we don't really have permission yet to cross that bridge, you know. We need permission. There are others that are saying, I'm not good enough to cross the bridge. I need to do this or that to cross the bridge. There are those who are afraid to cross the bridge based upon what they've been told. All of that, dear ones, is the children's stories you've been told. The real story, you are worthy. All of you are worthy. Spotless before God, beautiful, a family member. And you are welcomed when you cross that bridge and accepted as you cross that bridge. And all of you can make that crossing and stand tall and not even wonder, do you have permission? Are you clean enough? You are made in the image of God. Let's cross the bridge. From the known to the unknown is where we go every single time. And in the middle of that chasm on that bridge, there is a thick, seemingly, mist. It looks very thick when you approach it, but then you realize that when you go through it, it's not very thick at all. The intent of going through it thins it out. It disappears. Did you know that if you turned around and looked backwards after you've crossed it, there is no mist? Now, that's the first time I've told you that. That ought to give you a hint about what really truly goes on once you pass a barrier of disbelief and you've crossed it a number of times. The barrier is not there when you look back. You could look backwards into a lower dimension easily, but looking forwards into a higher one needs some work. And that's what you're doing. I want you to come across that bridge with me. Take my hand. Come closer. Let's go to the middle of the bridge together. Take off your shoes now. Let's not wait till later. Let's take our shoes off now. Now, taking off the shoes, it's simply a metaphor of honor from many cultures. It's not a rule, dear ones. If you forgot to take off your shoes, what would happen to you? Now, that is a linear human being speaking from a training that says you have to do this or that or wear a certain thing to be loved by the Creator. And it just isn't so. Magnificent you are with or without the shoes. The shoe, when you take it off, when you take them off, is simple a symbol that you're stepping into a sacred place, a temple. Even before you go across the mist, are you ready to go into the mist with me? I can't tell you how many years I have waited to get to this place. This is why Kryon is here. To get to this place where I can invite you to cross the mist and discover the majesty that is your own. Take my hand and let's go. What do you see? Take a breath. What do you see? And there are those who say, I don't see much right now. Close your eyes. Keep them closed for this episode of this program. And let that which is your innate, which knows all about your soul, guide you into the visualization that you need now. What do you see? I invite you to see majesty. What does it mean to you? Is it possible you can walk into your own soul this way? And the answer is yes, yes, and yes. What do you think the masters did? How could they do the things they did? They were here in their own soul. Every master who walked the earth was human. All of them. No matter what you think they were human. And in that they had a soul. And in order to do what they did, they were always in this place. And now you get to be in yours. Mastery is there. Magnificence, abilities, acceptance. Can you relax with this? How many eyes are on you now? Does it matter? What is the awareness of God right now to you? And I'll tell you that there is a hand out and a big smile from Spirit, with the hope that with free will you'll understand the reality of this. Come into your temple. Come with me. Don't pay any attention to the name on the door because it keeps changing. Just come in. I want you to see again that theater in the round that is there. I want you to go down the stairways because that theater in the round is a sunken theater with stadium-like seating all around it. How big is it? It's up to you. How many will fit in the chairs? It's up to you. What do you want them to do? Come sit in the chair yet again. I want you to stay in that chair for a while. Come sit. Come with me. Take a breath. Sitting in the chair, again, I tell you, it's not necessary. This is all a 3 or 4 dimensional metaphor for a multidimensional situation. The chair is a symbol of a relaxation as well as something else. When royalty is honored, the royalty sits down. And those that honor the royalty often stand. Or at least they verbalize it, or at least they make a noise, or they do something. And that is the situation. You are about to be honored yet again. But this time, I want you to suspend all belief because the theater is going to change. In this particular exercise, sit. And I want you to see the seats of the stadium start to fill in. And once again, this time they can fill with whoever you think is part of your soul. Who is sharing your soul? I just told you in a former channel only a few months ago. That was on purpose. Did you like that? Did that catch you? What is timing of these things? You do understand, don't you, that many are going to see this particular program as it is presented and later. So I just made a statement for those of you who are watching what you call a replay. For those of you watching live, a few moments ago, I gave you the information that your soul is shared by so many. They're there for a ride with you, and they're in the stadium right now. I want this stadium here, this theater, to have walls that disappear, and I want you to float it, if you wish, in space. Where all around now, all you see are stars below you, above you, beside you. It feels so wonderful. There is no threat. This is where you belong. This is where you started. This is where you end. Until another adventure begins, and those with you are your family. those who've lived with you lifetime after lifetime, friends and family, all together in this place. This one is special. I want you to watch what they're doing, because they're beginning to wash each other's feet. Are you understanding the symbolicity of this? Some of them are coming on stage and lining up to wash yours. That's why you took off your shoes. It's a statement. No beginning, no end. Accepted you are in the scheme of all things, and in that, there is no reason for any of you to carry the disease that you have, or the worries that you have, or the fears that you have, because they're so small, dear ones. They belong to that little dot called earth that will come and go. You are eternal. Use the eternalness and the understanding of who you are, and order those things that are not appropriate to your magnificence to leave your body. As they all wash their feet and wash yours, now is the time to affirm. To your biology as it exists in this lifetime, tell it about how pure it is. To your consciousness and your subconscious, wash it, tell it how pure it is, so that when you return to that place that you call home or reality that is temporary but is earth, where you came from, and that chair that you sit in, when you come back, you'll realize that this was real. As real as it gets, not virtual. This is the real reality. And what's on earth and the chair that you sit in is all variable and temporary. So why not enjoy it and drop these things which are inappropriate for your magnificence? Stay there. Stay with me. Let me sit next to you. Let's have a great time. As your feet are being washed, let me wash them at least once, so you understand who you are and how God sees you. Stay. And so it is.
Lost, and we were separated from the rest of the group, and once again bus 4 was lost, and we got the opportunity that somehow the video crew was on bus 4 with us during this particular part of the tour, and they asked if I would want to channel at the Sea of Galilee. So we stopped at the Sea of Galilee by a little church. I'm not sure exactly where that was, but the film crew had the wonderful idea that I should stand in the water to channel Yeshua. Now, on the coast, the water is full of these round boulders that are like this big, and I was had to get barefoot because, I was walking in the water, and I started to stumble, and these two giant film guys grabbed me by the arms and kind of picked me up and carried me into the water, sat me down, and I was standing there in the water. And then Yeshua came through, and it was so profound that they said, and now we're touching the stones. We weren't before. and I thought, oh, how cool is this? Standing in the Sea of Galilee, channeling Yeshua or Jesus. And it was so fun and so profound. I just will always remember that moment of these two big guys carrying me into the water.
That is amazing. And what I would like to know actually is the channeling experience of Yeshua in Galilee compared to any other place on the earth. Because I know from Lee, when Lee and I have talked, that there are certain places on the planet where the pristineness of Gaia and the energy will allow a more purity of channel. It makes it easier for the purity of information to flow through than other areas on the earth. So my question for you is, did you feel that there was a different flow of energy from Yeshua in that place compared to anywhere else?
Absolutely. It was the most profound that I could ever imagine. I mean, I remember the very first time our guide asked me to channel. Again, bus 4 had been separated from the rest of the tour, and we were on top of the building that had this, the Last Supper was supposedly there, and he said, well, would you channel for us? I've never seen channeling. Yeshua came through immediately and gave the most profound. I mean, most of the people that were on bus 4 were standing around in tears because it was so emotional, and they felt so much unconditional love at that moment. And when I finished, the bells across the city of Jerusalem started to toll out, which it was 5 o'clock, so they do that at 5, but it was pretty good timing on our part. And then it had been cloudy all day, and at that moment the clouds parted, and in the shape of a dove, there were the sun rays, the God rays, I call them, coming through the clouds in the shape of a dove. And somebody even took a picture of that. It was so profound of an experience, and it went up from there.
Beautiful. Well, I have a question now for Lee.
Before you do that, I remember.
Oh, okay.
She's talking about the Israel tour.
Yeah.
And we had 6 buses, and she mentioned bus 4. I remember it was always getting lost. That's true. But I have additional information. He always wore dark glasses. And I wondered why that was the case. We find out later he didn't see well. I am kidding. It's a joke, folks. All right, don't give me letters, all right? This is just my humor. Fine. All right, ask me the question.
Well, leading right into that, now you've got a peek of Lee's humor.
All right, fine.
I want to ask you, Lee, do you have a funny or profound moment during your travels, either just the two of us or when you were with Marilyn?
For me, it's fall down funny for me. That's the term I use for really funny. And it was in Egypt, and we were together in Egypt, and we were in Luxor. We all had gathered there because there was going to be the unveiling of a new statue, I believe, or some improvement. So there were a lot of chairs around, people were coming in, and they were waiting for the Minister of Antiquities to come, and he would be coming at sometime soon. Timing is always interesting in some of these countries. They say, well, he's coming soon. You don't know what that's going to be in a half hour or 4. So what do we do while we wait? Because we were interested in seeing whatever they're seeing and going to see Luxor. So Marilyn was there. And so we said, Marilyn, would you channel for us?
And we looked for a place that was out of the way. You should understand that when we ever go to these places, especially in honor of a special place of Luxor, we don't want to, stand up and channel in the middle of it. It's not honoring to those who didn't want to hear a channel, and there's a lot of tourists around. So we try to remove ourselves as a group. Well, there were, I forgot how many of us were there, but maybe 50 or so. And we found a staircase, cement staircase that went up to a parking lot, and nobody was using it, and there was no cars up there. So we all gathered around this stairway. It's not a staircase, it's a stairway. And sat I remember I was sitting down front and on the cement side of it and all, and Monica was there too. And so we asked Marilyn to channel. So she starts channeling. And I forgot, she always starts with Adironda. And there we were. It was serene. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And here we are in Egypt, and the sun's going down and all. And then I realized something was happened. There was a kerfluffle. I say, a little bit of noise, and it was the top of the stairway. Evidently, the Minister of Antiquities was using the parking lot above us, the one that was available only from the stairway we were on. So he was coming with his entourage right down the stairway where we were gathered, where Marilyn was channeling. Now, you have to think about, what do you think he was thinking? As he started down the stairway with his people behind him and all, and he saw all of us gathered around and a woman talking. He thought that she was lecturing, perhaps on the history of Egypt or the history of Luxor or whatever. Made absolute sense. That's what people do there. They gathered around. We all had the guide audios, where she's talking and we're listening. So it looked absolutely normal as some kind of an education meeting that we were doing. And so that's not what was happening, folks. We were channeling, and I don't know who she was channeling at the moment that he walked down, and in courtesy to her, he knew he was interrupting her. He listened for a moment, then he turned to her to, say something like, thank you for all being here. I'm sorry I interrupted. And she, in channel, Adironda or whomever, starts to answer him. I was like, this was wild. I couldn't have, I was going, is this really happening? She's channeling to the Minister of Antiquities.
And Lee, we should point out to people that Marilyn channels with her eyes open and can walk around.
Yeah.
So she wasn't sitting there like Lee would have to.
Like boring Kryon.
She's not sitting there with eyes closed and focusing. She is channeling and her eyes are open and she's walking and talking straight to the Minister of Antiquities.
Right. And so they talk together for a while and he moves on. We got it all on audio. It's on my free audio site when we're in Egypt. And there are pictures as well of Adironda, I think, meeting the Minister of Antiquities. I'll never forget that moment because he was a lovely, handsome man, and going down and doing. We love Egypt, and we love all of them there. He didn't have a clue that he was actually working with the channel at that moment in time.
So Marilyn, and
he was very polite.
Do you think that Adironda might have activated him?
Absolutely. I felt these almost blue lasers going in between the two of us.
He was. I think he was very pleased because what they were doing at Luxor at that moment was really special.
Yes, they were unveiling one of the Ramses statues that they had put
everybody
there.
It was a win-win for everybody, but especially for me, because I just really thought it was great.
Okay, well, what I'd like to do now is to ask some questions to Marilyn and to Lee that specifically relate to the body of work that they are doing on the planet. So, Marilyn, I have a question for you, and it's in relation to the double-digit program that you do. And for those watching that don't know about double digit, Marilyn's been doing it for infinity. And every month there is a date of the month that correlates to the number of the month in the year. For example, March 3 becomes the double digit of 3-3. So, Marilyn, my question is, after you've done this for a whole year, doesn't that mean you've finished? I mean, am I missing something? And how is the numerology different from classic systems?
Well, I haven't been doing it for quite infinity. I've been doing it since 9/9 of 2009, and every month the double digits activation is pretty profound and exciting. Well, see, in the beginning, Adironda told me to pay attention to the numbers, and particularly the master numbers in numerology, and then we started the double digits, and it came up every month, as you say, Monica. But what happens is the year changes. So the year, like this year, is 2023, and so that adds up to a 7. 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals a 7. And so then the double digit of the month, like 3-3, would then add into the 7, which would make it, let's say 3-3 is a 6, and 6 and 7 is 13, which would be 1 plus 3 is 4. So that would change the frequency of the month. But you're right, after a certain period of time, you seem to go through all the numbers. However, what happens is Adironda then takes the state of the universe or the state of the multiverse into consideration with those master numbers. And sometimes they divide them up in separate, like 3 and 3 would be just a 6, and what does 6 encounter? Or you can go with 11, and that would be a 4 with whatever year is coming in. And so it changes every single month based upon the state of the multiverse, based upon the state of the planet, and then how we can adapt that message into our own personal lives. And when we do, then that gives us some indication as to what's going to happen during this month or that month, and then how that month is actually going to be perceived on a global scale. And so it's really the master number, 3-3, 4-4, et cetera, plays a part in the frequency of that month, and then therefore, and the frequency of that year. And it changes every year and every month.
Does
that make sense?
Answer. It makes complete